everyone. So here I am talking about the leaf, a leaf panel lace. It's a beautiful 17 stitches, and it's 17 stitches and 16 rows pattern, which forms a panel. I'll show you. The panel looks like this. It is not yet blocked, so there are these 3 stitches edges at the two sides, and then there is this panel that runs all the way. Just one repeat of uh, the 17 stitch and 16 rows pattern runs all the way from the start, which is this part. I've added a little color a border, just kind of so it stands out. I always like the little contrast of it, so yeah. And this is I'm still working on it. It's 10 inches kind of wide. Without blocking, it is 10 inches. When you block, it definitely goes an inch or a half wider, and at least 65 inches long. You can make it longer if you want to kind of make it double around your neck. Now let's talk about the loom I'm using. It is 36 peg 716 and CinDWood loom, and then these are the tall pegs, which makes knitting laces very easy. It's I'll now want you to kind of focus on how this leaf pattern is arranged. You see, this pattern first goes like this, and then it comes all towards the center. If roughly you trace the edges, it goes like this here. See, it's like a nice leaf, which you can see here. It goes, you trace the line, it is, this line is, and then there is a garter setting, and on the sides are, since it is a panel and the panel is set on stockinette, you can use this panel and insert it in blankets, on scarves. It wouldn't look so good on hat because it has to lie flat to kind of look stand out and looks good. So I am going to, this is like I told, explain that it is, let me bring this in the center, that it's 16 rows tall and 17 stitches. The eyelet rows are all the odd rows. That is row 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15 are all eyelet rows. And all the even rows are unit stitches. When we knit the unit, makes the tension a little loose. So when we are moving the stitches on even rows, because lace knitting is all about moving stitches to give this leafy curve. I'll demonstrate here. This video will have only the eyelet rows demonstration. You all know how to do the unit. I'll probably demonstrate one row of unit because I wanted to show you how we work on the tension to keep it loose, so moving it is easy. Now a little bit about the yarn I'm using. 716 pegs are very ideal to work with worsted weight, aran, or like thicker yarn, chunky, not very super chunky, but just normal chunky. So I have this huge ball of Wendy. It's Wendy aran, and it is worsted weight, like a little heavier worsted weight. It's not heavy in weight, but look heavy. So I'm using this. You can use any worsted weight. If you want to make this, knit this on half an inch, the result would be equally good. So if you don't have 7/16 or you still don't feel comfortable working on 7/16, don't worry about it. Use the same yarn or a little chunky one, and use your half an inch looms and work on it. For half an inch loom, you can use the 30 and it will give you the same width. 36 will 36 inch half an inch 36 peg half an inch loom will give you a little wider. So before I start knitting the rows, I would like to take a minute and explain how this scarf, for the scarf pattern, how we are going to set the loom. So the pattern is on 36 peg loom. So here is a version of the pattern which is on 36 pegs. On each side, on either side of this 36 peg round loom, there are 3 stitches which form the edges. Now this is my first peg, and this, the white one, is my 36th peg. You can do either way. You can have the white one as first. A lot of people do that. I just happen to kind of tie it at it differently, and that's it. Now we will start from, this is my, the pink one is my left peg, and white one is my right peg. I will start the pattern from the left peg. My row 1 will be left, which will go from left to right. And my all the even rows will go from right, it is right, and it will go to left. And even rows goes from left to right. Remember that. And in the pattern, when if you see, I have given these arrows which basically explain the direction. This goes from left to right. The odd rows goes from right to left. Now see how I've set up this loom. The first stitch of is the first one is the slip stitch. Slip stitch is important because it gives a neat edge. If you can see, it's a very neat edge on either side, on each side. So the stitch, the peg 1 and the peg 36 are slip stitches. In a bit I'll show you how it is done. Then the peg 2 and 3 are purl. So together these 3 forms the one side of the left side of the edge. Then we have, when we knit come all towards the end, the same thing will happen. The 36 peg is a turnaround, or it is slip stitch, and the 35 and 34, 35th and 34th are purl stitches. These make the edges. So I have put a red stitch marker on peg 3 and then another stitch marker on peg 34 to mark the edges. Okay. Then there are stockinette background. So peg 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stitches are stockinette stitch, which is just we will knit, you knit them on every time we go around and come back. If you are working on like 50 peg loom and you want only one panel, so you can place your panel in the middle and make a stockinette background in each of either side. So I have put a yellow here on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on 10th peg. And then there is a blue peg on 11th, showing the beginning of the 17 peg pattern. So from this peg, we start counting 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll tell you why I have put it a blue on 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Another one on 17. This is very central. And now there are one, two, three, four, five, six, seven pegs, sorry, six pegs here. One, two, three, four, five, six pegs here. There is six on one side and seven stockinette stitch on other side because it is 36. I couldn't kind of divide it very evenly. So a stitch or two wouldn't hurt. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seven on this side and six on this side. So this forms, if you see, this part of the scarf. Okay, so I have started knitting this scarf on 36 loom, and I have marked from 1 to 17 the 17 stitch pattern which I need to demonstrate here. Uh, so for the scarf, naturally we have to do the either side of the scarf. So this is the slip stitch. It is also called half a stitch. Then we have two purls, purl 1, purl 2, and then there are 7 units for the stockinette uh, background of the stole or the scarf. And now here the first stitch starts of the 17 stitch pattern. Uh, the pattern says knit 3, then we have K2 top, which is knit 2 together, purl 3, yarn over, knit, yarn over, purl 3, SSK, slip slip knit, and then knit 3. Let's see how we do it. So it's knit 3 first, okay? Knit 1, knit 2, and knit 3. The eyelet is on peg 8 and peg 10, either side of the middle peg, that is peg 9th. Okay, so I have to create the eyelet on peg 8. For doing that, I had to create uh, K2 together on peg 4. So I'm going to lift the stitch from peg 4, bring the stitch on peg 5, bring it backwards on peg 5, and place this back on peg 4. So now there are two stitches on peg 4. We will knit them together and it will be termed as K2 top. I'm not knitting it right now because I have to move the stitches, 3 stitches from left side to the right side, because K2 tog is all about moving stitches towards the right side from left. And now peg 8 is empty for the yarn over. Let's start knitting now. We'll knit this unit, and the 5, 6, and 7 are purl stitches. Purl 1, purl 2, and purl 3. Then we have yarn over. Yarn over is pass the working yarn loosely in front of the empty peg and knit the peg next to it, which is peg 9. Now we have completed the right side of the pattern, and now we have to do the left side of the pattern. So eyelet is on peg 10. SSK or slip slip knit stitch is on peg 14. So lift the stitch on peg 14, hold it between index finger and thumb, and bring the stitch from 13 to 14. Replace the 14th stitch back and move all the stitches, which is right now we have only 3 stitches, move them all towards the left side. Make eyelet by passing the working yarn over the peg 10 and anchoring it on peg 11. Sorry, not knitting, but actually we had to purl it. So purl 1, purl 2, and purl 3. Then we have SSK, slip slip knit, and then 3 knits. That completes our first row. Here I start the row 2, which is knit 2, knit 2, and then there is K2 together. See, note one thing that on the eyelet rows 1, 3, 5, and 7. The eyelet pegs are same. It remains same. It is the SSK and the K2 tog which are changing to give this, this part of the expanding, the expanse part of the leaf. So the K2 tog on row 2 is on peg 3. So we are going to move the stitch again like I told you before, and then move all the stitches from left side to right. 5 to 4, 6 to 5, 7 to 6, and 8 to 7. Now peg 8 is empty. K2 tog, knit 2 together, and then purl 3, purl 3, knit 1, yarn over, knit the ninth peg, and then create an eyelet on peg 10. For creating an eyelet, we need to move the stitches towards the right side. And in order to move the stitches towards the right side, we have to create a SSK on peg 15. So from peg 14, the stitch goes on peg 15, and I place the peg 15th one back, and now move all the stitches from right to left. There were 4 stitches all came here. So we have knit 1 and then purl 3. 1 purl, 2 purl, and third purl, and then SSK slip slip knit, and then 2 more knits, and row 2 is complete. On row 3 now. So the first peg is knit 1, it is just knit, and K2 tog is on peg 2. So let's create K2 tog, lift the stitch from peg 2, bring the stitch from peg 3 to peg 2, and place it back, place the original stitch back, and this is the preparation for K2 tog. I'm not knitting it now, I like to knit everything together, and move all the stitches from left side to the right side. So 5 to 4, and 6 stitch, 5 goes to 4, and 6 goes to 5, 7 goes to 6, and 8 goes to 7. 5 stitches are moved from left side to right side, leaving the peg 8 empty. So, and let's knit peg 2, 2 stitch together, which is K2 tog, and then purl 3. Purl 1, purl, purl 2, and 3, and these 2 stitches will be knitted. Knit 2, yarn over, move the working yarn, pass it in front of the empty peg, and knit peg 9. Now there is a yarn over on peg 10 and SSK on peg 16. So lift the stitch from peg 16, bring the one from 5 and place it back on 16, and move 5 stitches from right side to the left side. Right? So knit 2 and purl 3, purl 1, 2, 3, and SSK slip slip knit which is just, and then there is just knit 1 and row 3 is complete. Now I'll draw your attention to one thing. Why do you think I am this stitch, like lifting the stitch and placing it back? This is because of this prominent, you can see these lines. So when we move the stitches, knit the stitches like crossing each other, it makes knits which are thicker, prominent, and it stands out and gives shape to the pattern. Now row 4. Peg 1 is the K2 tog. We'll do the same thing. Lift the stitch from peg 1, bring the stitch from peg 2 to peg 1, replace the original peg 1 stitch, and move all the stitches from peg 3 to peg 8 to peg 2. Alright. 3 to 2, 4 to 3, 5 to 4, 6 to 5, 7 to 6, and 8 to 7. We have moved 6 stitches from left side to the right side, and we have the peg 8 empty now. Let's start knitting. K2 tog, and then purl 3, purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, and knit 3. Knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, and knit 9, making a eyelet on peg 8. And we now need an eyelet on peg 10. So let's go back to the last peg of the stitch pattern, which is peg 17. Lift the stitch from this peg. The stitch on peg 16 comes to peg 18 and replace back. Now 15 to 16, 14 to 15, 13 to 14, and 12 to 13, and 11 to 12. We have moved a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. Oh, 6 stitches. Right? So peg 10 is empty. Knit 3 and purl 3. Knit 3 and purl 1, purl 2, and purl 3. SSK, that is knitting these 2 stitches on last peg together, and row 4 is complete. Now I'm starting the next part of this leaf, which is when the leaf is going towards the middle. It is now going to move towards the middle, and I'll be knitting row number 9. One thing I'll make correction in these videos is that I was saying row 3 and 4 and 5. It is, I was referring to the eyelet rows only, right? So we have knitted so far until row 8, and now I'm starting row 9, which is knit 1. Row 9 is knit 1, yarn over, purl 3, SSK, knit 5, knit 2 together, purl 3, yarn over, and knit. Let's see. So knit 1, and in these rows, the yarn over and SSK and K2 top is different pegs on each row. So let's focus carefully. I have knitted 1, and yarn over is on, this is the edge. Let's finish the edge, and I have come to peg the pattern, the 17 stitch pattern, and it is peg 1. knit 1, and yarn over is on peg 2, and SSK is on peg 6. See? So let's go to peg 6 right away. Lift the peg, bring the stitch on peg 5, place it on peg 6, and place back the original peg 6 stitch and move the stitches towards from right to left because it is SSK. SSK is the is moving the stitches from right to left, and eyelet is on peg 2, and we'll purl 3, purl 3, and SSK, which is 2 stitches on peg 6, knit together, and then there is knit 5. It's all unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5, and K2 together is on peg 12, right? See, it's on peg 12. That's why I say that this is fine, the written instruction, but your pattern that you are knitting, the chart is the visual representation of what you are knitting. By reading this, it's just hard to understand then which peg SSK and yarn over or K2 tog is to be knitted. So on row 9, K2 tog is on peg 12. I'm on peg 12. I'm going to lift this up and move the stitch from peg 14, peg 13 to peg 12, and place this back, and then move all the stitches, that is 3 stitches, from left side to right, because we need an eyelet on peg. The eyelet is on peg 16. Okay, so see, there is an eyelet on peg 16, and let's do this. This is K2 tog, and purl 3, purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, and then knit 1. This is row 9, the eyelet row complete. Row 10 is unit, which I'll be doing on the other side, like, coming back. Okay, row 11 now. There's knit 2, eyelet is on peg 3, and SSK is on peg 7. Lift the stitch from peg 7, bring the stitch from peg 6, place it on 7, place back the 7th stitch, and move 4 stitches from right to left. Sorry, 3 stitches. Now there's 3 stitches to be moved on every row in this part. So purl 1, eyelet is on peg 3, pass the working yarn in front of the empty peg and purl 3, purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, and SSK, slip knit 2 stitches, and knit 3, knit 1, knit 2, knit 3. Peg 11 is the K2 tog. Lift the stitch from peg, sorry, I think my hands are not visible, let me, okay, and lift the stitch from peg 12, bring it on peg 11, and place the stitch back. And now move all the stitches from the left side to right side. We have to move 3 stitches. So for purl 3. So this is K2 top and purl 1, purl 2 and purl 3. Eyelet is on peg 15. Make an eyelet and then knit 3. And peg, this is row 11 is complete now. Row 13 now, or the 7th row of eyelet, 7th eyelet row, or in the pattern it is the 13th row. It is, sorry, knit 3, knit 1, 2 and 3. Eyelet is on peg 4 and SSK is on peg 8. Let's move the stitch from peg 7 to peg 8. Replace the 8th stitch back and move 3 stitches from the right side to the left side and purl all 3 of them. Peg purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, and then SSK, knit 1, peg 10 is the K2 top, move the lift the stitch from peg 10, hold it in the thumb, move the stitch from 11 to 10, and then move 3 stitches from left side to right. And this is K2 top, and knit all these 3 stitches. Knit 1, knit 2, and knit 3. Sorry, purl 1, purl 2 and purl 3, and then knit 1, knit 2 and knit 3. Looks like I'm getting tired. So row 13 is complete. The eyelet row, I'm going to U-knit row 14 and come back for row 15. The last eyelet row, or the row 15 now, it is knit 4, knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, knit 4, and on 5th peg is an eyelet. But on this row we are not doing SSK, we are not doing K2 top, we are doing another eyelet making, knitting and eyelet making technique, which is called CDD, central double decrease. Central double decrease is when on a central peg, one stitch from either side, each side of that peg is moved to one central peg. So on peg 9 is the CDD. We are going to move the peg from the stitch from peg 8 to peg 9 and peg 10 to peg 9. This makes peg 8 and peg 10 uh, empty for moving the stitches. And now we are going to move 3 stitches from each side of the pattern. I move 3 stitches, and I'll move 3 stitches from this side, the left side to right side. Now the pattern is set for knitting. Well, there is an eyelet on peg 5. I'm going to pass the knitting yarn in front of it, making an eyelet. Purl the next 3 stitches, and then central double decrease is knitted 3 together. Knit 1, knit 2, and knit 3, and then again purl 3, purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, and an eyelet on peg 13, and then knit 4. this is the last eyelet row of the 16 row pattern, the leaf panel. Now I'll draw your attention to why this CDD. You see, leaf always have a tip. So this CDD forms the tip of the leaf. Look at this. The leaf lines are here. It comes from both the side and meets here, the line. Okay, so this is the CDD. And the last row is unit, and that completes the 17 stitch 16 row pattern. For this scarf you will make knit at least 35 to 38 repeats to achieve a 65-inch long scarf that can wrap around your neck and look good. So enjoy knitting, people. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for knitting my pattern. Have a good day, everyone.